Hello dear friends, I'm Marina, and in this video I will present you the most important things you need to know about the zodiac sign Aquarius. This video is part of the series about the 12 signs, and if you want to check the rest of them, you will find the links below the video. First of all, let's describe what are we going to discuss. We're going to discuss the main characteristics, both positive and negative, the shadow and the lesson for the archetype of Aquarius. You might be connected to this archetype if your sun is in Aquarius, but also if you have other important planets or your rising sign is in Aquarius. And don't take this information personally. We're not describing a particular person because a person is a mixture of different energies. So we are focusing just on the archetype. And let's begin with the symbol. What's the symbol of Aquarius? This is the water bearer. And here is one mistake which sometimes people can make. They can think that because of that, Aquarius is a water sign, but that's not true. Aquarius is an air sign, and this symbol of the water, the bearer of the water, represents the knowledge, the information that Aquarius can bring into the world. But the nature of the sign, it's all air. Air is related to the intellect, the mind, our way of thinking, our way of connection, and these are some very important things for Aquarius. They define their major necessities and also strengths when it comes to intellectual work or ideas or finding new concepts. That's where Aquarius feel most comfortable. And some of their major strengths are related to seeing things in perspective, seeing or visualizing things far away in the future. They may have some genius ideas, extraordinary ideas, or some very original solutions to other problems. And as we know, sometimes this might turn into a challenge if you are too different than others. If your way of thinking is so different than others people, this can turn into a challenge because others may not be on the same level. And this is one of the challenges for Aquarius people. If they don't find the right environment, people who are also revolutionists, idealists like them, people who value freedom, people who value community, they might be very frustrated. And the normal necessity, the typical necessity for Aquarius is to be willing to share with others, to be part of community. But here are some important requirements. This community should be part of a larger group or people who share similar interests, people who share same ideals, or who are part of a greater idea altogether. And if the Aquarius person cannot find this type of environment, this type of community, he might prefer to isolate himself, to detach from the regular, the boring people, the conservative people, and just be on himself. That's the reason why some Aquarius people may turn into loners, because internally they crave the connection with community, with people who share the same interests. But if they cannot find this, they would better be on their own instead of be surrounded by boring people or people who are just not on the same level like them. So here are some of the most important keywords about Aquarius: ideals, freedom, future vision, also channeling ideas from the future. The other thing which can also be a great strength for Aquarius is their ability to bring the changes. They love variety and they love changes. And some of the potential challenges, some of the potential weakness for this sign, first of all, is that they might be very impractical. Their desire to revolutionize things and to do things differently can make them detached from reality, and they may just be incapable focusing on material results or doing the boring side of things or the boring part of the job, and this can make them quite inconsistent. They are constantly searching for excitement, for variety, for new experiences, and if something gets more routine and a little bit boring, they totally lose their interest. They may switch to something else, which over time might be a challenge. If they are not willing to focus long enough on a particular task, work even when things get a little routine and boring, obviously this may create challenges in the material reality. And that's why very often they are detached from the material world. Uranus, which is the ruler of this sign, can make people very focused on the extraordinary, eccentric, revolutionizing things. But if it comes to the everyday life, the boring tasks, don't count on them. They are not interested and they may literally, walk away. Another possible challenge is that they may also have lack of emotionality. And I'm sure that here someone would take this personally and say, okay, I'm an Aquarius person, but I am emotional. And that can be totally true. You might have your sun in Aquarius, but at the same time, your Venus in Pisces or a very strong moon, of course, you will be emotional. But typically, the pure archetype of Aquarius is detached from emotions. The focus on the mind is so strong. The person can be, he's far away. He's somewhere beyond the material world. He is interested in concepts, in theories, and emotions sometimes may even scare him because emotions are related to attachment, possession. And Aquarius value their freedom so much that they will do their best to escape this situation. So drama, possession, trying to control them, to manipulate them, that's what will make them go away. And another thing which is related to their shadow, they can be unpredictable. Again, here we feel the impact of Uranus. The unpredictability is something so typical for Uranus. And Aquarius people may also have this kind of approach over things. One day they are doing something, they are committed, they're focused, then they radically change their perspective. You cannot predict their behavior, their goals, and even their reactions. This is kind of, part of the description if you are communicating with an Aquarius person. Another thing which is also related to their shadow is the inefficiency. If you are not committed long enough in one concrete area, or you have too many interests, you are constantly searching for new impulsive directions, decisions, whatever, then very often you may have challenges with the practical materialization of things and also with being efficient. So those are some of the things that Aquarius people may struggle with. Their strengths, as we said, are their ability to see things from a different perspective, to invent new things, to find solutions. In science, they can be absolutely amazing, but don't count on them if things are getting a little routine or boring or repetitive. They lose complete interest. Now, let's discuss which are the most typical ways or the most typical characteristics when it comes to emotions and love. First of all, the thing that Aquarius people value the most is freedom. Freedom, independence, variety, excitement. And if you want to make the person happy, if you want to be in a relationship with an Aquarius person, you have to provide the freedom. You have to trust them. You have to allow them to have their own space, their own private time. And a key necessity here for them is to have mutual interests with the person they are in a relationship with. Whether this could be about hobbies or about science or spirituality. It may even be sports, whatever. But he needs to find something similar, that there is something more than just the physical connection. Physical connection usually is not their main priority. Mental connection, spiritual connection, absolutely. So that's what we should focus on if we want to be in a connection, in a relationship with Aquarius person. Providing freedom, finding similar interests, respecting their privacy, and also keep in mind that in relationships, Aquarius people may need more variety. Some of them might have the tendency to have multiple relationships. We don't say that each Aquarius person is a cheater or anything like that, but generally this is one of the signs which has a higher need for variety and excitement. And if you translate that into real life events, very often it may lead to multiple dating or relationships or changing partners frequently, because if they're now no longer interested, it's very hard for them to stay in the same position, in the same relationship. And they really try to escape traditions or boundaries and restrictions. So it's very important for them to feel this level of freedom, that they can take the needed decisions, they may do whatever they want. And as we may guess, for other people this might be a challenge, especially if the other person is conservative or has a very strong need for stability and security. This might be a challenge. But for the Aquarius person, stability and security usually are not their top priorities. Their top priorities are freedom, independence, excitement, variety, interesting experiences, and of course it depends on their level. If a person is on a very high level, evolutionary, spiritually, he will have some very different interests in the occult, in the future, in astrology, of course, in other spiritual teachings. And if a person is on a lower level, it might be a quite destructive energy, which makes him act in a weird way, constantly opposing other people just because, even if there is no particular reason, he feels the need to be in opposition with others, to do things in his own unique way. And it's interesting with kids that a child usually is not supposed to be, a revolutionist. They are not supposed to have so much freedom, and that's what can make them actually act strange, because they need this freedom, they need this independence, and if it's not provided, and sometimes honestly it's just not healthy to give that much freedom to a child, so they try to break the rules, they try to do everything their own way. So with a few words, it's not easy to raise an Aquarius child. Okay, and let's talk about the main lesson for Aquarius, the archetype of Aquarius. One of their main lessons is to learn to be practical and to live and accept things as they are right now. Their desire to escape in the future, to be constantly living somewhere far away in their dreams, in their expectations, this detaches them from reality. And one of their main lessons is actually to learn to accept the regular people, sometimes others who are different than them in their own unique way. So see things as they are in the material reality and accept that. The other major lesson for Aquarius people is to be kind of more vulnerable emotionally, to allow themselves to connect to other people, not just intellectually but emotionally, because these are very different things. Aquarius are all about connections, sharing, expressing ideas and so on. But when it comes to emotional expression and emotional connections, they may step off. So these are some of the major lessons for Aquarius. accept life as it is and regular human beings with their faults, with their mistakes and everything, and also allow themselves to take emotional risks and to be vulnerable with other people. And we can also discuss a couple of ways in which we can increase this energy. This may really help you if you want to be more creative, or if you want to find new solutions and just be more original in your work. So first, what you can do is to communicate more with others who share similar interests. Let's say that you want to increase your level of spirituality or your knowledge in astrology, then find a similar community and connect to like-minded people. This will help you incredibly in moving forward and really connecting to this type of community Aquarius energy. The other area in which you can focus on is increase your level of knowledge and intelligence. This may happen again through communication with people, or reading books, or finding information. Everything which helps you to improve your intelligence, your level of knowledge, is also boosting the Aquarius energy within you. Next advice is to be more independent. This is something that Aquarius people value a lot. Be more independent in your daily life, in your daily decisions, in how you communicate with people financially, and so on. And the other thing is to focus on finding alternatives. Alternatives when it comes to traditional things you are used to. It may apply to health, or your fitness regime, or nutrition, or the way you communicate with others. Search for alternatives. Luckily, nowadays we have so many options when it comes to healing, when it comes to spirituality. Go there, explore, connect more to this energy. And the last advice I have for you is to focus on your ideals and values. Aquarius value their ideals so much. They're so connected to them. They might be different for the different people, of course, but they are very aware of their ideals and they don't want to make compromises with that. So if you want to increase this energy, find your own ideals, connect to them, appreciate them, and live your life in alignment with those ideals and values. So overall, to summarize, Aquarius is really one of the most interesting signs of the whole zodiac. Frankly, it's not one of the easiest at the same time, because there are so many high-level energies which are just not easy to be channeled and materialized here on the earth. At the same time, these are the people who can bring changes, people who can make life, the world, humanity different. So let's appreciate them, let's help them to express their uniqueness in a healthy way so that it won't hurt them and their relationships. And by embracing this energy, we may also be part of this community, because we all have the Aquarius energy somewhere in our chart. It might be just related to a concrete house. We may not have any planets there, but it's still somewhere inside of us. So recognize, embrace the Aquarius energy within you, and it can help you to change your life and to really make a progress. That was all for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want more astrology, go to marstars.net. You can check the links below as well. And also, if you want to learn astrology with us, you can sign up for the waitlist for Marstars Astrology Academy. Links below the video. Thank you again, and I'll see you very soon.